Hello friends, welcome back to automationtestingcenter.com. So in this video I'm going to show you how to handle frames in Selenium WebDriver. But before I start this video I would like to discuss few things with you guys. So if you go to my blog, that is www.automationtestingcenter.com. So here if you navigate to Selenium tutorials, so here I have covered all the topics whatever we have been covering through YouTube channel. So here I have listed down in the form of blog, or I would say in the form of articles. So here you can refer all the articles, all the topics which we have covered, and similarly Java for Selenium topics also we have covered. And if you navigate to this tab, that is Java questions and answers, so here I have provided all the answers of Java questions, and here we have Selenium questions and answers. And already I have provided all the already I have listed the questions and I'm preparing the answers, and soon the answers will also be posted very soon. Okay, so let me just come back on today's topic. So we'll discuss handling how to handle frames in Selenium WebDriver today. So this is the agenda for today. So we'll discuss what is an iframe and how to identify the iframe and perform different scenarios for iframe. Okay, so what is an iframe or frame? So an iframe is also known as the inline frame. So I stands for inline, and it is tag used in HTML5 to embed an HTML document within a parent HTML document. Okay, so let me just show you demo websites, different elements on a web page. So here I have added couple of iframes, you can see. So this is my parent document, parent HTML, and inside parent documents I have added two more HTML documents. So those are called iframes. Okay, so these are called iframes. An iframe tag is defined using this iframe. This is the iframe tag. Okay, iframe is web page which is embedded in another web page, or an HTML document embedded inside another HTML document. So this is another definition, guys. It tells the same thing which we have discussed. So you can see in my blog, so these two are frames which are residing inside the parent document. How to identify the iframe? Okay, so right click on the element. If you find the option like view frame source, then it is an iframe. So here if you see, it's okay. Yeah, here if you see, let me just right click and inspect. Once again, first this one, if you right click here, then you will see view frame source. Okay, view frame source. So this is an iframe. Second, from DOM tree, search with tag iframe. So inspect this, and here you will get iframe tag. Okay, and let me just show you how many iframes are present in this page. So there are 9. You can search like this. So 1 of 9. So we have 9 iframes present on this web page. Right click on the page and click view page source and search with iframe text. Okay, so you can search by looking into view page source as well, and through script. This is how we can uh, search in the script by tag name. I'll show you this one while showing the demo. Okay, while working with demo. And what is next? So scenarios to be covered. So these are the scenarios I have listed down. So we'll see a demo like how to get total frames on a web page. We'll print all the frames by name or ID, and we'll switch to a frame and perform some actions. Okay, and how to come back to the main page which contains frame, because this is different document, separate document. one second, this one, these two are separate documents. Okay, so first of all, if you want to perform some actions over here, then we have to switch to this particular frame, and once you are done with your task, then you have to come back to parent frame, and you have to continue your testing, okay, on this parent document. How to switch to a frame? So there are three ways. We can switch by index, we can switch by name or id of the frame, and by web element. Okay, so I'll show you. We'll switch with using all these techniques. Okay, so let me just create new class, iframe demo. I'll select public static void main. Simply I'll copy few lines of code to launch the browser from previous class, and I'll add throws declaration. Simply I'll change the URL to this URL. Now how to get all the frames, how to get total frames on a web page? So how to get that? So driver dot find element by dot tag name, by dot tag name. So what tag name? iframe. Okay, and this will give you list of web elements, so we'll store in list of web elements, and let's say iframe list. We have to import web element web element from what happened, one second, I have selected the wrong package. So we have to import list from java.util, and web element from oru.openqr.selenium. This should be find elements. Okay, I think this is fine. One second, we need one more. Yeah, this is fine now. And how to get the total number of frames? So we have one method called size, so that will return int, and let's say total frames, and let's print the number of frames, that will give the count, total number of frames present on a web page. Fine, and let's close the browser for now. Okay, let me run this program. Browser is launched, navigated to that URL. And after some time it will close close the browser. Yeah, here you can see number of frames 9. Now how to print all the frames by name or id? Okay, so what we'll do, we'll use advanced for loop, and all are we have list of web elements, so we'll iterate using web element. Let's say iframe, and we have this list of frames, web elements. Okay, and system.out.println dot get attribute. This is web element, right? So we have method called get attribute. So by using get attribute, uh, let's say go for id. Okay, and this should give all the ids of iframes. So let me rerun it again, and here we can give comments like frame ids are like this, we can give. Okay, now let's rerun this program. Yeah, we got the ids of all the frames. So I think we do not have ids of few of the frames, so let's go by name this time. So instead of id I would use name, and I'll rerun this program again. Now we got all the names, right? Names of iframes, name attribute. Okay, so here we got 9 frames by name, so I should change this. So let's say names frame are name attribute. Now what is the next scenario? We'll cover to switch to a frame and perform some actions. So let's say I'll put if condition, and if iframe dot get attribute, let's say name only, and dot equals, we have equals method, and I'll give, let's get the attribute of this one, this Wikipedia iframe. Okay, so inspect this. So here we have name iframe underscore b. So here I'll put, so if you match with iframe underscore b attribute, okay, the name attribute, then we'll switch to frame. Something is wrong. Frame only one, yeah, and then switch to frame. We have command driver dot switch to frame. Okay, so let's use this time by name. So we have this name, this one, I'll put it over here. Later on I'll show you the last topic, how to this one we have how to switch to frame by different techniques. Okay, so currently I am switching with name. Now we are at this frame. Now let's perform some action over there. Let's inspect this search box and we'll enter some value there. We'll enter some text. Okay, so if you inspect, here we have id search input. So driver dot find element by dot id, and this is the id, and let's send some text there. So we have send keys method, uh, iframe testing. Okay, so it should write iframe testing there. Now what we'll do, see, once we are once we send the text over here, then we should come back from this frame to the parent window, parent web page. Okay, so how to come back? So driver dot switch to, we have one method called default content. So this will let us to come back to the parent frame, parent web page, I would say. Okay, now after coming back to the parent web page, let's inspect some element and perform some other actions. So let's say, so that we'll come to know, like, we come back to the parent window and we have performed some action. So let's say this one, let's inspect this. So we have this button id simple alert. So I'll write driver dot find element by dot id, and simple alert dot will test whether it is displayed or not. So we have is displayed method, and let's store in a boolean variable is button displayed. Okay, and simply will print that. So that will give you true results. Okay, true result, it should print, because we come back to the parent page, or you can say the main page, and we should verify this button, it will display it or not. It will display or not, or we need to verify that. So I think everything is ready. Let's put some weight over here. Thread dot slip, after entering the text, let's wait 2 seconds of wait. Now let me run this. Here you can say iframe testing, and then closed the browser. So these are the results. Number of frames 9, frame names are, these are the different frames uh, by name. These are the 2 frames which we have added recently, like these 2 which I talked about, these 2, and other things are true. So after coming back to the parent web page, or the main page, we performed this operation, right, whether that button is displayed or not. So that gives result true. So let me just show you without coming back to the, without coming from parent frame, sorry, frame. If we comment this line, then what will happen? It should give some no such an element or stale element exception. because we are at frames only, that particular frame only, and then we didn't come back to the parent window. Okay, and we are trying to perform this action. Okay, so let's see. It performed send this text iframe text testing, and then we are at this frame only, we didn't we come back to this parent window, so that's why it should give some errors. So let's see. Yeah, still element exception that I discussed, right? So this element is not present, the element which it's not there in the DOM, this one. So let me just uncomment this. So this is how you can work with frames, and what is remaining. I think we have covered all the scenarios: how to get total frames on a web page, print all the frames on a web page by name or IDs, and switch to a frame and perform some actions, and how to come back to main page and which contains frame. And one more thing, we have one more method, that is parent frame. Okay, so what it does, if you have multiple frames, so take an example like we have a frame, and inside a frame we have frame b, and we are at frame b, and if you want to switch to parent frame, then you can give you can use this method. If you want to come back to a frame, then you can use this method. So here only we have only, I mean, two windows, sorry, we have one window and one frame. Like this is main window, main web page, and this is frame. Okay, and we just wanted to come back from this frame only, so we can use default contain default contain method. Okay, so this is the difference between default contain and the parent frame method. So I think I have covered all the scenarios. Now let's see how to switch frame by index. Okay, so in this command where we have written driver dot switch to frame, so here instead of giving the name, you can use 0, 1 or 2. Okay, so it starts from 0 index, so we have 9 frames, so there should be 0 to 9 index, so total 10, right? 0 to 9 we can use, but I would not recommend, I mean, this is not recommended actually, the index switch by index, because if I mean, developer might add some more frames, okay, going forward, so in your application, so that will not work. Index, if you switch by index, then that might not work going forward. Okay, so to avoid that scenario, we should use by name or ID. So I have used earlier iframe underscore b, this is name, so let's use ID this time. Simply we can give ID over here. So to inspect this frame again, and here we have ID, this is ID. Okay, so let's see, if you switch by ID, then we'll see whether it will work or not. Browser is launched, navigate to URL, and it will write inside the frame that text which we have sent, iframe testing. It will come back to parent window and then close the browser. So here you can see successfully we have executed this with where we have switch, yeah, with ID as well. Now what is next? We can switch by web element web element as well. Okay, so what I'll do here, I'll write one command, driver dot find element by dot id. So if you inspect this frame, okay, let's go by name or id and create a web element, okay, in the form of web elements by dot, this is name, so I should make it as name, and we'll store this web element in a variable web element ele, let's say ele. Okay, now I'll use, instead of name or id, I will use ele here. Okay, and I'll rerun this program again. Iframe testing, and it closed the browser. So in this case also it executed successfully. So this is how we can switch to a frame by index, by name or id, and by web element. Okay, and I think we have covered everything today related to frame. Okay, so I'll post this code in my blog. Okay, and please like this video, and if you are new to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe this channel as well. Thank you so much. Bye guys.